Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's 7 o'clock, and welcome to this evening's City Council meeting. Before we get started with our customary Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence, I have an opening statement that I'd like to read, and I promise I won't have a closing one tonight. We are extremely fortunate to live in a close-knit, inviting, tolerant, and inclusive community. In wake of the horrible events occurring in Charlottesville, Virginia last weekend, we here in our Buckhannon Upshur community need to be united and vigilant in our rejection of hate and those who would seek to exploit it here. Charlottesville is 174 miles from Buckhannon. It takes but 3.5 hours to get to there from here. By almost all accounts, Charlottesville also had been seen as an inviting, tolerant, and inclusive community, the home to one of our nation's preeminent institutions of higher education, the University of Virginia. What happened in Charlottesville could happen anywhere. I learned earlier this week that West Virginia Wesleyan College representatives fielded phone calls of concern from families of new incoming students about the climate here in Buckhannon, insofar as how welcomed their students of color would be here. As a community, we must send a universal message that we will not tolerate any hateful overtures and that everyone is welcome here. Our city is collaborating with West Virginia Wesleyan College and businesses throughout our community to send our message loudly and clearly. First train in a month.
Actually, last night it was.
Oh, be quiet. Try to be
Walking the dog.
It's modeling loud and clear.
It is.
Our city is collaborating with West Virginia Wesleyan College and businesses throughout our community to send our message loudly and clearly that everyone, no matter their race, ethnicity, religion, gender, or orientation, need not be fearful here, that they may confidently frequent our public places, stores, restaurants, schools, and governmental offices, knowing that they are welcomed, valued, and important to our community. Our community encourages everyone to display this simple sign bearing a simple message. It's in orange and black. We're all in it together, and by we mean everyone. Everyone is a valued someone here. You are welcome here. Our community, our citizenry, our local government, our activities, our businesses, our schools, and special events are all inclusive. It doesn't matter what your race, religion, gender, orientation, or disability is, as you are part of us. Buckhannon is glad you are here. We are Buckhannon Upshur Wesleyan Strong. As we engage in our moment of silent reflection this evening, I ask that we particularly keep close to our hearts the victims of Charlottesville, Virginia. I also ask that we be mindful of the passing of Shirley Arnold, mother of our own Jerry and Kelly Arnold. And also we need to recognize the passing of Dennis Cordes' father this week. Please keep all of our friends in need in our best thoughts and prayers. Please join me in our moment of silent reflection. Thank you very much. I would ask our honored guest, Mr. Rob Zuliani, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. Rob, would you do that for us? Thank you, sir.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And before we get into our regular agenda and a couple of three important guests, we have Mr. Stephen Smoot with he's the Eastern Panhandle Director. We'll let you be heard here in just a moment, Mr. Smoot. He is with Alex Mooney's office, our congressional representative for the 2nd District. Mr. Smoot, welcome to Buckhannon. Would you like to come up and address the City Council? We're glad to have you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the warm welcome. Yeah, I think trains go by great. The more trains, the more commerce. Everybody benefits.
There you go, that's right.
But I'm the Eastern Panhandle Director for Congressman Alex Mooney. I'm sure that it's come as a surprise that you all were added to the Eastern Panhandle. Congratulations, welcome to the Eastern Panhandle. I just want to come and introduce myself to you all. If you all have any concerns, if you have any issues that you want passed on to the Congressman, please feel free to get in touch with me. Also, any projects that you all are getting into where you're applying for grants, whether they're state or federal money, the Congressman really likes to support local projects with letters of support. So please feel free and reach out, and we will arrange for the Congressman to provide one. I hear that Councilwoman that one of your particular concerns and issues is Veterans Affairs, and the Veteran and Military Affairs representative for the 2nd Congressional District is in our Martinsburg office, and his name is John Miller. And not only does he do casework for individual veterans who need help, he also he's trying to build a veteran service network, and he also likes attending or even holding beneficial meetings. So I'd love for you to get in touch with him.
I met him in Martinsburg at a conference up there with the Legion just last winter, I think it was.
Okay.
And,
Excellent.
And yes, we've talked about that.
Good.
Talked about it. We're going to make it happen.
Good. And he will go anywhere, anytime you guys need him. He'll be here.
Thank you.
I understand that some meetings have run a few minutes over recently, so I don't want to take up any more of your time. Thank you all for having me.
You need to be here more often. Sometimes these go on for hours on end.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate you being here. And please give Mr. Mooney our best. And
Certainly.
we'd love to have him come to visit us in Buckhannon.
Do you have a business card?
Yes, I have only a few left.
I need 2 if you got a couple.
Sure, I'll give you all of them.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I said shoot and it's sloot.
Close enough.
Close enough. Wait a minute.
Thank you again for coming. I'd like to call upon Rob Zuliani to come forward. We have a special honor and recognition for him. Rob, will you please come on?
I don't know, right in the middle.
You got to be on my right. I'm deaf in the left ear. You get to be pushing 40 years old.
Tonight for my nights.
Yeah. So they heard you. Mayor's proclamation. Whereas Rob Zuliani is a proud Buckhannon Upshur community resident who many years ago came to Buckhannon to attend West Virginia Wesleyan College, and in 1995 founded and continues to be the owner of Zuhl's Frozen Lemonade products, first created, I read the website, April of 1995. And whereas Zuhl's is a consumer favorite at many venues throughout our state of West Virginia, including at West Virginia University's Mountaineer Field and Coliseum in Morgantown, Marshall University's Joan C. Edwards Stadium and the Cam Henderson Center in Huntington, the West Virginia State Fair, kind of going on right now. The West Virginia Power Park in Charleston, the Meadowbrook Mall in Bridgeport, and Sam's Pizza in Buckhannon. And whereas Mr. Zuliani has been extremely community-minded in our Buckhannon Upshur community, as evidenced by his many years of donating his popular products to the events of many service organizations throughout the year. And whereas Mr. Zuliani's iconic products are known throughout West Virginia as originating in Buckhannon, thus bringing our city much positive acclaim and notoriety. And whereas, I don't know where Buck came from, we got to fix that. Whereas Rob Zuliani's selfless and outstanding service and contributions to our community are indicative of our citizen and business ownership in and respect for community activities and represent the very finest example of our high quality of life enjoyed by our residents here. And whereas our city is very proud of one of its most accomplished citizens who steadfastly epitomizes positive thinking, dedication, and accomplishment, while serving as an exceptional role model for everyone throughout our BU community, and now desires to recognize Rob Zuliani for his outstanding contributions to our community by bestowing upon him our city's Ambassador Award. Now therefore, I, as Mayor of the City of Buckhannon, pursuant to the power and authority duly vested in me, do hereby proclaim Thursday, August 17, 2017, to be Rob Zuliani and Zul's Day throughout our city of Buckhannon. To further memorialize Mr. Zuliani's devotion to and affinity for his Buckhannon community, I further now hereby bestow upon him the Buckhannon Ambassador Award, thus being but our city's 16th recipient and honoree of this most prestigious honor and award. Appropriately, I direct the installation of a permanent placard upon the Ambassador's Bench on East Main Street in front of our city's Stackert Youth Center to permanently honor Mr. Zuliani. The bench bearing the inscription and legend, the Ambassador's Bench, honoring those who selflessly dedicated their lives to the service, promotion, and advancement of Buckhannon. I further urge all of our residents to greet and recognize our city's most honored citizen, Rob Zuliani, along with his family, friends, and all members of our city government family during his most special day, given under my hand and the official seal of the city of Buckhannon, this 17th day of August 2017. Signed by me. Congratulations. Folks in the back row up with you for a photo off there.
Sure, come on, let's
They
go.
probably got to go back out to the place and work tonight, right? Oh, come on.
Come on.
Jackie, you got it. Come on.
Carter and I are the shy group.
Oh, come on.
Shy
Dad needs a, come on. You gotta come on. Come on, Carter. Come on up.
Cameron definitely takes after her father on this one.
Yeah, she was right there. I mean,
Yeah,
she's a
not-
future city
not
council
us.
member there, I can tell.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Looks good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Good deal.
Thank you so much.
We thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations, Rob.
I will. You got it.
You guys are welcome to stay.
Get out of here while you can.
When we go to approve the building and wiring permits, it is just to die for. It's the best
All right, we're gonna run. See you.
Thanks, Rob.
Don't we have sewer board tonight?
See you guys.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, Matt Kerner is not here yet, but I think he's going to come. But our next guest is April Keating, who wants to tell us more about the water celebration. April, we heard from Chip at the last meeting last week, but would you like to come up and fill us in on the latest goings on?
I will. I'll give you the latest update. I'll make my way over to the podium, I guess. So we have a really exciting event that we've built up, and I'm really excited about it. There's going to be music. Seth Maynard's band is going to come. There's going to be food, and I just asked Rob Zuliani if he would like to sell Zul's, so we may have Zul's there too. I know there's going to be some pizza, and Fish Hawk Acres is going to be there with locally produced food, and that's exciting. My notes. There's going to be an interfaith water blessing ceremony with faith leaders from the area, including several interdenominational Christian leaders, and then we're also reaching out to people in Morgantown at the Jewish synagogue and the Muslim temple. We also have a Native American faith leader coming as well to be part of that prayer ceremony. I didn't have the time to send you the flyer and the tentative outline, but I think you might have gotten it anyway because Autumn sent it around to Jerry and Kelly and Jerry Myers and the people in the City J that are involved. So they have a copy, and I can certainly forward those to you guys as well if you want that. We have raised almost all of the money that we expect that we are going to need for this, but we do have a couple of questions. The first one, the one of the most concern to me is, are we going to need to be insured, or does the city's insurance cover this event?
I'm going to defer to Amby. I don't know if we're a co-sponsor or a mere participant, but the city has approved this, and we are going to have a table of workers supporting the event. Amby, what's your take on that? Is that something we need to send to Jamie Powell to get clarification on?
And if it's a city-sponsored event, we're just a participant, no. If it's a city-sponsored event, it would be sponsored by city council.
Is along Westland's property also?
Yeah,
It's at the river
most of the river trail,
Yeah.
It's
you know,
by
is
boats,
Westland property.
So, I mean, Westland, their umbrella liability policy would help out also.
Should cover, should I check with them? to
I
make
would
sure?
check with them, yes.
Okay.
Randy Kreitz might be your point of contact there.
Okay, so if we do end up with an expense for insurance, then that's gonna add whatever that cost would be. I'm thinking maybe around $250, $300. So I'm not sure what that cost is gonna be, but so far we have collected $730 if we include the most recent contribution mentioned from our city council member Dave Thomas. And so I expect that the amount that we need is $750 unless we have to purchase insurance. So if we did, then we would either hope to be included under the umbrella of whatever organization is covering the area at the time, or if we did need to purchase, that would be something that you could consider if you were going to, I know that you had talked about it, or we're going to talk about whether or not you were going to contribute anything financially as city council.
Your request, or part of your request tonight, is for the city to be a financial sponsor. I read where the county commission opted to decline county commission people money, citizen money, but they gave their own gifts. So
Yes, they did. They did give privately, which was really.
yeah, I will give you a check for $50 to help.
That's wonderful.
But I do have, we have so many city projects going on right now that we are strapped for. We're making improvements to the public safety complex and Jalbone Park, the dog park, Stockard Youth Center auditorium project, the Colonial Theater renovation, and I can't in good conscience recommend to the city council that we take the limited funds from our general fund to allocate to anything like this, because once we start that, it's a slippery slope.
Right.
But I'm anxious to hear from other council members on that.
That's what we started last year, David, is that we had many organizations come and ask for opportunities for providing resources for their budgets. And we just said that's a can, once you open it up, it just gets out of control, unfortunately. So we've been careful. But again, any of us sitting up here contributed and want
Right,
to.
and also the people the guys from the water plant, you know, I know they're contributing and they're gonna help out there, and I'll throw in a 50 too for it.
Well, thank you very much. I think that'll help a lot. And if we don't have to cover insurance, that'll certainly help. If we do, that takes a chunk, so that's really great.
Sure.
We really, really appreciate that. So the other groups that are contributing are, the other groups that are sponsoring the event are contributing financially. I'm happy if the city would just have a table and do something, talk about our water system and really show people the great things about it.
They prepared a flyer, I know, so I know they're
Good.
planning on
Good.
being there.
Yeah, and anything hands-on is preferable
Sure.
in this day and age. Everybody wants to get their hands on things and be interactive. And I wanted to know if we could use the city logo on the flyers, or especially to put the city on the banner as one of the sponsors.
Okay, council, thoughts on that? We are participating. So
Right.
If
Fine with
we're
me.
if
Well,
we're
that gets
appearing
into
as a
insurance.
participant, you know.
That gets into the insurance
Yeah.
question then.
In what way?
Like, the difference between participation and sponsorship. If you're
Yeah, everybody
definitely-
else on the banner is going to have contributed financially.
Since we're doing as individual council person.
Then I could put your
April,
names on individually.
If you want to,
don't
but
mind.
I wouldn't put the city on
Okay.
as a sponsor.
Not the logo.
Okay, so not even on the flyer? The city is a participant,
Well,
is a sponsor, I guess.
We're going on, we're
Not a financial sponsor.
I know we're slicing legal hairs, but there is a difference between sponsorship versus participation.
Right.
And we are participating, and we committed to doing that a couple of months ago when you first started the idea of this project, and we remain committed to that. If the city logo reflects participation, and that's what we're saying, if you're putting participants on there, that's fine. If it reflects sponsorship, we don't want to be identified as a sponsor.
Okay, for the banner, my original plan was to put people on the banner, make a thank you banner for everyone who contributed financially.
Sure.
So I might keep it to that. But for the flyer that we're going to be giving out for promotion, anybody who's a participant could be included. And since the city supports it, I think that would help us in our promotion.
Teresa Summers can forward you the logo, and that'd be fine on your flyer.
Great.
Because it's on our flyer that we're handing out as part of this event anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
That's good.
So you want to hit the high points for us again? It's next Thursday.
It's Thursday at the Riverwalk, right where the boat slip is. And I haven't figured out the exact placement of all the different people that are coming, but I think we'll put some on the left and some on the right of that boat slip. It's from 5:30 to 8.
Okay.
And people will be coming about 4:30 to set up. And then I guess we'll be out by 8:30, 8:45, hopefully.
Super.
And we've got the music, the food, kids' activities galore. There's going to be water flying, so you might want to wear a swimsuit. Or something you don't mind getting wet. Let's see, the interfaith blessing. There's going to be kayak and raft rides provided by Tiger River Outfitters, and they are going to be handling all of the boat in and out of the people and the waivers and the insurance for that portion of the program. So they've got that part covered. As to my understanding, I hope that's adequate in terms of insurance coverage, but they're going to cover their part, the water and the people in the water. And the other thing I was wondering is if the city could provide us with some trash bins and maybe some recycling bins for the event.
I think we can make arrangements for, we have some garbage cans down there already. It's just a matter of doubling up so that you're going to have a few people there.
Okay.
I'll mention that to Jerry Arnold.
Great. And there's going to be a raffle, and the county also gave us 10 one-day pool passes to raffle. So we're going to do that, and there's going to be door prizes. So people get a ticket and win a prize.
Sure.
We hope this will be a yearly event that will be larger and larger to really draw attention to our great water system and how important it is to keep our water clean.
Sure. You might want to do a 50-50. That attracts a lot of
I don't know how that
gamblers.
Oh, yeah, you just get double tickets. I know how it works.
Okay.
I'm not volunteering to sell them, though. I sell them all the time.
Thanks, Mary. New committee member,
we're trying
Mrs.
to keep
Albaugh.
it as close to free as we can.
Sure.
But I feel like that people probably should pay for the rides, the raft rides. So I'm asking $3 for adults and $1 for children, just to make it affordable for families. The cost of Tiger River is going to be $250, but we're going to absorb that because we really want it to be a great, accessible event for everyone.
50-50 might raise you a couple $100.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, once I figure that out, I might do it. I don't know.
I'll send you.
Okay. Okay. And I think I covered everything. The only other thing is that we're working on promotion right now because we want people to come from all over the place. Autumn and West Virginia Rivers are handling some of the newspaper and radio stuff. I'm going to be sending our message to Channel 3 and a couple of local radio stations. She's invited representatives, local and state, and I really want to get flyers out to the college students and all the school kids in the county. I'm just starting to work with the board on that, so I don't know how that's going to pan out. But I really want everybody to know about this, and I want it to be really huge.
Call West Virginia Radio also, because they will, between 9 and 10 o'clock every morning, they will be more than happy to talk to somebody that's involved in this. And, you know,
Do you have a personal contact?
Yeah, Gary,
Well, then
I'll
send it to you.
Yeah,
Very
okay,
good.
that would be great, because I've tried to work with them
He's-
before, and they're pretty tight to the vest
Um,
about their
he-
advertising.
Oh, I think it wouldn't be advertising necessarily, he'd probably want to interview you for like 5 minutes about the event.
Okay.
he does that a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
he likes to, yeah.
That sounds
But
great.
I'd call him tomorrow.
I'll
Okay.
send it to you right now.
Okay, I'll do that. And I appreciate the support, and I'm really excited, and thanks.
We wish you the best of luck, and I'll plan on popping in.
Okay.
April, I have another comment.
Sure.
I mentioned this
Yes.
to Chip last council meeting.
Yes.
But I think it's great what you're doing, and to, promote the importance of our source water and so forth, and how important it is to our, our whole community and society. But I'd like to know, is there any talking about this with the either elementary or middle school or high school, the school board? Yeah, I think this needs to be talked about, like how to treat animals too. I think it has to be done at a very young age, and talk about the importance of, our water supply and how important it is to keep it clean and so forth, and also how we treat our animal friends and so forth. And I just don't know if we're doing that in our school system or not. I guess I better go ask.
I'm in complete agreement with you, and any ideas that you or anyone else has about how we can reach out to the education system and get that talked about in school as a subject would be dear to my heart. I'd be happy to help.
Okay.
We'll see if we can promote that.
Well, don't they do something like that about treating water, the water plant? They give tours and stuff to kids.
Yeah.
That's a good educational thing they have.
It's usually a particular class asking for the tour as
Yeah.
opposed to us
Us.
going out and being proactive in the
Yeah.
school system.
And some of it is just that there's a lot of technical information about contaminants that people don't understand, how certain chemicals can affect you in parts per million, billion, or even trillion. And these chemicals are all around us with industrial processes and agriculture and various different things. So it's not always something you can see, and that's why we need to be ever vigilant and really proactive in caring for the water.
Well, thanks for featuring our beautiful river, and perfect venue right along the river.
Thank you
To have
for
your
all your
inaugural
support.
event. So we wish you the best of luck, and we plan on seeing you next Thursday.
Okay, wonderful.
Thanks
And
for-
if you want to speak, we'd love to have you say a few words.
Well, he'd love to do that.
He'll take a half an hour though, probably.
I'll probably have a water proclamation.
You're my friend.
Nice idea.
Get him in a bathing suit.
Thanks, April.
Yeah, and bring your water balloons.
Yeah, thank you very much. Peter Brown begged out tonight. He has information about the acquisition of Sudden Lake by Altice, and some interesting programming developments that are coming our way that will further make your television viewing experience even more exciting. But he couldn't be here tonight, so I figure we'll see him at one of the meetings in September. So that takes us down to department and board reports. Jerry is with his family this evening. His mom's funeral was just yesterday. Amby Jenkins is going to bring us good information, we hope, on our dollars and cents, right?
Well, if you'll recall, I just gave you that last week, so it's going to be kind of short and sweet update. And Susan, I'll take up this report so you don't have to.
Oh, good.
do anything. Just really brief. A couple of things you tasked me to do. The accreditation for the fire department, Commission of Fire Accreditation International, that they want to join. I started that process, got the application started, and then sent it on to Jim. He's filling out all the information that they require for the application process.
Great.
So that started. The drone, he had requested to talk to me about a drone, and I talked to him about his budget and explained to him I don't really just have a stash of money somewhere for a drone, but let's talk about his budget. And he decided that he'd rather have a drone than a couple things that he had put in the budget when he talked to you back in March, developing his budget. And then I told him that I would, again, look at the budget. We're only 2 months into this budget, July and August. And I'll look at that again in December, mid-year, when we start seeing more projections on revenue and expenses, and that I would make a note of that and talk to you if we can reallocate money for that. Just a couple other bits of information. The USDA will come in for a compliance visit on August 23rd. They want to take a look at our event center and the money that they contributed to us in a loan for the event center. They want to do a tour of the event center and ask some financial questions here, so just a bit of information. I think this might be the first compliance visit that they have done since we have borrowed that money. And then just one other thing, another citizens service that we want to offer. I mentioned to you the service that we want to offer to people so they can start putting requests for work potholes online, and we're going to get that process started once I go through the other two boards to explain that to them. But another thing that I'm going to work on, we're updating our software, billing software, general ledger and payroll, an upgrade to that service so that we can offer an IVR process. An IVR process is where citizens can call over the phone and pay their bill, and they don't have to talk to us or deal with us at all. So that's what we have going on right now. Do you have any questions?
A thing or two, right? Questions for Amby? Thank you, Amby. We appreciate you as always.
Thanks.
Next up is our ever ready to contribute to the good of the common man, our city attorney, Tom O'Neill.
I'm going to defer until section F in my matters down there, except to take any questions if there are any.
Okay.
Any matters.
Compact backup. A couple of folks have asked about that. What's your position on
actually,
that?
I had seen something about that this afternoon, actually, with respect to those claims having been submitted. I've not been in touch with the insurance adjuster yet, although I'm told that we should expect that forthwith. So the suit's pending, the suit's there. If the insurance company does not come through as we expect it to, but according to Mr. Skinner, and maybe it was in your office today that I saw something along the lines of, maybe it was on Teresa's, I'm not sure. I saw a paper that said that this is in underwrite, this is in claims adjusting now, so hopefully we'll know something pretty soon.
Okay, good deal. We'll get back to you.
Is that, Dave, Thomas, I know this has been a particular issue of concern. Does that satisfy you?
Yeah, I'm on the water board.
Yeah,
so
no, I know.
We have been discussing it for a very long period of time.
Right.
I'm glad it's getting to the point where it is.
I don't know that we will have a resolution by the next meeting, but I'm hopeful that we will know the insurance company's position by the second meeting of September.
Yeah,
I would hope that
the adjuster would have a conversation with you, because.
Well, I was expecting one by now.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'll reach out to Councilman Skinner and make the first call if I need to. Just if I don't hear from him, say by middle of next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Tom.
Thanks, man.
Police Chief Matt Gregory, come on up, Chief. Everybody being safe down at the public safety complex?
Yes, sir.
It's been an interesting week.
Very busy here recently, yeah. A couple of things I actually didn't put in my report, but just wanted to mention, may have seen in the news over the last week or so. Been very busy at the police department. We had a very scary incident just last week over at Buckhannon Manor. As you all know, Mary Shoulders is the building manager at that facility, and she had an encounter with a resident at the Buckhannon Manor who displayed a rifle at her and threatened to kill her. So we responded to that. We were assisted by the Sheriff's Department and the state police. Very much appreciative of the assistance that they provided to us. We were able to make contact with the individual by the name of Philip Suter and peacefully get him to come out. his room. We arrested him for brandishing a deadly weapon and assault against Mary Shoulders, and seized his firearm. So again, that was a scary situation, but just very fortunate that it ended without anybody getting hurt. The other incident just occurred a couple nights ago in collaboration with between us and the Lewis County Sheriff's Department and the Natural Resources Police. Many folks may know them as the DNR. Conducted an undercover drug operation at the Hampton Inn, and this operation netted us a couple of arrests, one for an individual for possession of controlled substances, and another individual who was coincidentally wanted out of the state of Ohio for dangerous drugs and child neglect charges. Was charged with delivery of a controlled substance for bringing approximately 2 ounces of crystal meth for around $3,200. So a major operator in methamphetamines in this area, and again another fine example of the positive results that you can achieve when you cooperate with your fellow agencies. So again, very appreciative of that.
Could you talk just briefly, I became aware of it anecdotally, and then you and I chatted about it. There was another incident that arose at the Upshur Parish House, and it involved one of our VIPS members.
Yes.
Can you tell the rest of the council about
Absolutely.
that excellent event?
Absolutely. This last Friday, I received a call from David Rowan, one of our VIPS members. He saw an individual who just looked suspicious to him. The state police were on a traffic stop in the area near the clothes closet, and when this individual saw the troopers, he tried to hide in the building from them, tried to hide his face, and caught Mr. Rowan's attention. He recognized him, who he believed to be Ronald Chastain. We confirmed that Mr. Chastain was wanted from a number of different jurisdictions. When we encountered this individual, myself, Officer Chris was shadowing myself and Officer Wilson. When we encountered this individual, he tried to portray himself as his brother. He had his brother's ID, but Mr. Rowan again assisted us with this endeavor. And one of the things that they had there at the close calls that Ronald Chastain had actually signed in for services under his real name. And Mr. Rowan brought that to our attention. And once we confirmed his identity, he was arrested on a variety of charges. We charged him here in Upshur County for obstructing an officer because he was lying about his identity and using a false ID. He was also wanted on charges from Harrison County, Montague County, and dangerous drug charges out of Garrett County, Maryland. So he was taken to Taggart Valley Regional Jail on those charges. Is pending the West Virginia charges will be extradited back.
How old was this person?
Off the top of my head, I believe he's 30s. I'm not sure the exact age, but I believe he's 30s, late 30s.
Matt, was David working over there?
Yeah. Volunteers his time there as well.
I wondered.
Volunteers. You guys recall the last couple of times we've recognized our VIPs. He's actually leads the pack in the hours that he volunteers with the police department. So he was kind of wearing 2 hats that day.
Are there commendations that you can give to your VIPS members that it might be appropriate to bring him to an upcoming city council meeting where we might?
I think now's a good time to create something, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I mentioned that to Mr. Rowan that he did a fine job. And
he's always there when they need the volunteers to come out.
Yeah.
He's always there.
What he observed, there's nothing that any other citizen couldn't observe.
That's right.
Maybe possibly because of his connection with the department,
Right.
he felt comfortable in sharing that.
Yeah.
And if we can develop a process where all citizens are comfortable in sharing their gut instincts of seeing something, then
that's the kind of positive results we can
we're
realize.
going to be interconnected.
Absolutely. Yeah, in fact, he brought up that you know, a lot of his observations were based on some of the training that we provided him in our Citizens Academy.
Let's do something special to, in the process, get the word out that we want all of our residents and citizens to be vigilant when it comes to those kinds of observations and share information with our police department.
Absolutely.
If you guys come to know about it, you can take action.
We can take action, investigate it, and many times, you know, cases are solved not because of some fancy device or scientific breakthrough with the map. It's solved because somebody told us something. And we were able to investigate that and corroborate that and follow on and make a case out of
If we do something like that, could we have the other VIPs be present also?
it. We could request that.
I would like that. I would like that.
What else, Matt?
Some of the other things I have, just to report on from the council report. National Night Out was a huge success once again. Our best estimates showed about 558 people that were on hand. Real good time, was had by all. Very appreciative of our business and community partners that really helped to make this a reality. We will be getting out some recognition for those folks real soon. Just this past Wednesday, ourselves and the fire department hosted approximately 50 RAs from Wesleyan College. We've been making an annual tradition of meeting with the RAs right before school starts each year to talk about a wide variety of things, everything from drug recognition to safety topics, community policing. As we hosted them this year, we did provide, in addition to these talks, tours of the facilities as well. This coming up on August 31st, officers from the police department will partner with the Opportunity House to attend mental health training at our public safety complex community and training room. We're offering training down there. I'm putting about half of our staff through that as the schedule allows. Patrolman, very good news. Patrolman Chris got into the police academy on August 28th. So I was kind of sweating that. I wasn't sure if I was going to make the deadline or get him in there because, again, it's, they train all of the officers throughout the state of West Virginia, and there can be, I know when I was hired, I had to wait 7 months before I could get into the academy. And so this is an amazing quick turnaround to get him in there. We were able to get the paperwork filled out and down there, and his appointment is to report at 8 a.m. on August 28th. So he will be there all through the fall. His graduation date will be December 15th. And at that point, he will be assigned to Sergeant William Courtney, who will conduct his field training. Field training will last another 14 weeks. So he really won't be operating on his own until early spring as he gets through the academy and completes field training. Police department will partner with street department and other city departments mid-September for not only the children's fair that will be going on that weekend, but also the truck fest on September 15th and 16th. We coordinated with Jerry on this. We do have invitations out to other police agencies in our region to inviting them to participate and showcase some of their vehicles in this event as well. And then finally, for the report, school back in session, Sergeant Stewart is back in the academy school, conducting his provincial resource officer duties. So he's very much looking forward to that. He attended a week-long training that pro officers go through each summer. At the end of July, I picked up a lot of good things to bring back to school for the school year. That being said, motorists are reminded to use extra caution. Maybe the press can help me track this out. To use extra caution as children come and go to school. I know Sergeant Stewart has been very active with bus duty at the academy school and has worked with staff to work on the traffic patterns for the drop-offs and especially the pickups to help alleviate some of the issues that we've had there in the past. So he's been very active in working on that. That's all I have in the report. I do see on the agenda there's a couple other things to address vandalism and CALEA, and I'll just reserve my comments for for those particular items.
Call you back momentarily. Thanks, Matt.
Can I ask Matt?
Yes,
Can I ask a question? Matt, I know you're not county-wide policing, but if people see someone not stopping for a school bus,
Yes.
they speed up and go on, you know, can you get turn their tag number over? Is that appropriate, or is there
Yeah,
something?
absolutely.
Because, you know, we saw this over the, well, not the weekend, during the,
Last few
just
days.
last few days, and it's not in town, it's out in the country.
Roads.
Country roads, and
I know in a lot of situations, now, years ago, bus drivers used to be able to file their own complaints
Yep.
against individuals who didn't stop for the stop sign. The procedures we worked out with them at this time is for them to file a complaint with law enforcement. The complaint, we have a form that they fill out, and the form just recounts all the details that they can provide, to include descriptions of drivers, cars, license plates. And so in a lot of the cases, they will fill those forms out, and when they have time within a day or two, they'll bring those into the appropriate law enforcement agency. But if a citizen sees that happen as well, it is absolutely not inappropriate to show that to law enforcement. Say if we take a picture, any description, absolutely show that.
Is that actionable? I mean, citizen turn, I mean, can they, you issue a citation based on that?
Yeah, if we had something, and instead of just their word, it would be actionable if we had something to corroborate that. So picture, video.
Or another witness.
Bus driver.
because when the bus driver sticks his hand out like, we should have stopped, you know, the sign's already out. Yeah, blowing the horn and stuff, you know, it's.
Bus driver probably already.
Anything else for Chief Gregory? We'll get you back up here in a couple of minutes. Still all the guys will be safe. Thank you. Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Mr. Smith. Hope to see you again.
We'll be in touch.
Have a safe trip home.
Correspondence and information. You've got a whole bunch of letters that we've been writing on various matters. You've got the city's welcome letter to the incoming Wesleyan College students. You've got some information about the Truck Fest on September 15 and 16. There's a letter from West Virginians for Energy Freedom. There's a press release from the Secretary of State regarding the Upshur County sees highest new business growth in July. You have a letter from Suddenlink regarding new video service pricing and packages, which I think everybody's going to get in their monthly bill here anyway. There's a Jay Holland, an exchange of letters from the state and Jay Holland concerning Quarter H, a drainage improvement project. There's a thank you letter from me to Rob Zuliani for his kind participation in the city picnic last Thursday. And then an update on the Police Civil Service Commission eligibility list. Consent agenda includes 4 matters. I'm asking that you approve the minutes of our regular meeting of August 8th, approve the building and wiring permits, approve the payment of the bills, and then there's a zoning form from the West Virginia Alcohol Beverage Control Commission for the Social, which is the new establishment that has replaced where the night train used to be on North Kanawha Street. I've seen photos of their vastly revamped operations, and it looks to be a nice establishment. So I would entertain a motion that we approve our consent agenda. I have a motion by Mrs. Albaugh and a second by Mrs. Capari. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing of the need for none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of approving our consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Man, I think I should sing a couple of songs. This is moving along too quickly.
Yeah, keep it moving, David.
Susan Alloway has a question. Here we go. Who's the public? It's going to be something that's going to esoteric. It's going to take an hour to explain.
We'll allow Susan.
I was trying to just ask him quietly on the side. I was going to write you a note.
Oh, no, we're transparent here. We don't do
Okay. This one letter that you just mentioned under correspondence actually asks us to take action. Does that just get passed as correspondence, or are we supposed to do something with
I
it?
don't know, what are they asking for?
I didn't have a chance to read the
It's
whole
a
thing.
request to take a stand against the sale of the Pleasant Power Station to First Energy's West Virginia affiliate.
I don't know where it's at.
That doesn't explain it.
Well, the
Thank
letter
you.
goes into
I can read the
detail,
letter.
but
Right.
Since we've only listed it under correspondence tonight, why don't we put it for the next meeting in a couple of weeks?
Will that be too late? Do you know enough about it? Because the letter's dated July 31st.
Oh, we don't have it on the
PSC,
agenda to take
we
action.
can't, yeah,
That's
we
the problem.
can't, you couldn't take action on it tonight, but the PSC will be acting on that issue some point this fall.
Okay, so there's plenty of time to defer it.
Andy, will you make a note to put that on our September 7 agenda?
To the extent that you
That's
would
good. That's a
even
good
want to
question.
weigh in on.
Right,
the
I
issue
didn't
like
know
that.
enough about it to know.
I looked at it cursorily and told Teresa to stick it in the packet, since it's a letter, she put it under correspondence.
Yeah,
So
makes sense,
we'll-
except,
yeah.
well, and also the request is on the reverse side.
Yeah.
I just saw this where the signature was.
I don't
just
know
noticed
that
it when I was turning
Yeah.
the packet.
We'll take it up on September 7. That's a good question.
Good question, Susan.
Thank you, Dave.
I just like
Go,
to,
Susan, keep them
I just
straight.
like to pull her chain on occasion. Strategic issues for discussion, and this really is a matter of discussion. I've gone waffled all over the place in the last 2 or 3 weeks with these repeated acts of vandalism in our parks. I thought a few years ago, Dave Thomas came on city council and he was talking about things like moral decay and stuff like that. I think that's just an old curmudgeon going on, you know?
I hear it a lot.
But I don't know. Some people just don't know how to act anymore.
Yeah.
And I got on my high horse, and I think it's going to be on either Friday or Monday's Record Delta. I put a thing on Facebook about my being greatly distressed at the desecration of Jawbone Park by a couple of people that decided to put all kinds of vulgarities and profanities on our concrete pillars, our picnic tables, our light electrical fixtures down at Jawbone. And, you know, I'm down there 2 or 3 times a day. The guys have been working down there for the last couple of months, doing a beautiful job. If you haven't seen the latest improvements at Jawbone Park, you owe it to yourself to go see those. And these guys start their workday at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. They're down there working, and the first thing you see when you get down there is what somebody has done the evening before with, you know, messing the place up with this vulgarity and paint and magic markers and the whole bit. Well, anyway, we managed to very shortly thereafter use combined use of our new high-resolution camera that had just been activated 2 or 3 days before by the police department. That, coupled with my ranting on social media, they were almost immediately apprehended.
Wow.
So we know who has done it. One of the 2 is 2021 and is already doing community service, and the stuff has been cleaned up for the most part at Jawbone Park. The other is a juvenile, and we have to go through the extra hoops because it's a...
And maintain the juvenile's confidence.
Yeah, we can't, it's a least restrictive alternative standard for juveniles. And that's not to say that that person, upon going through the system, will also be required to engage in restitution and community service and things like that, but we just don't know about that part of the puzzle yet.
They do the community service in addition to restitution?
Oftentimes, it's up to the magistrate or circuit court judge in this instance, since it's juvenile court, but we should, if there's a matter before the circuit court, we should have the opportunity to weigh in. And
If the juvenile can't do restitution, then the parents ought to do it. And if they can't do it, then they need to do community service.
In this case, the community service that has already been undertaken is actually a bond condition.
Upon what, I'm sorry?
It's a condition of their bond.
the parents' bond prior to final disposition of the charges.
So there could be additional community service ordered as part of that.
What? Do we have a curfew
We do.
What is the curfew? What time?
I believe it's 11 o'clock.
And
For me to sit here and tell you that it's been something that has been zealously enforced over
Just
the
reminders?
30, going on 35 years. Oh, yeah. You can't control.
Can't have.
Other than the declaration of martial law, you can't.
What about having the parks open from a certain point in time during the day and then they close at another time during the evening, like 9 or 10 or what have you?
Gosh, I'd hate
You
to
know,
do
I'll
that.
tell you what rules, you know, is we can keep ramping up rules and regulations to modify the behavior of the people that don't want to pay attention to the existing rules, and then everyone else loses those rights and opportunities along with it. So, I mean, let's vote. This isn't the first
Or you
case that
criminalize it.
Won't be the last.
So if you have somebody, in a
social
park,
media,
if you have somebody in a
we
park
had
at 12,
and
let's
so-
say, I don't agree with CJ. I think there's got to be a balance. And I don't want to see 2 or 3% of our population ruined for the other 97%.
But you think you're not going to stop those people that don't want to pay attention to the rules by creating more rules?
All I'm saying is that if a police officer is going through a park or driving in a park and sees that there's people out there at 1 o'clock at night, they have no business being there at 1 o'clock at night. I mean, I think there's got to be something.
That might prompt a stop and walk up and say, hey, what's going on? Ask a couple of questions, but.
Yeah, let me pose this to you.
But look
We got people that work 3 to 11 shifts.
Right.
And they get off of work at 11 o'clock and they go home and they put their shorts on and decide to go for a walk through this beautiful, serene place, because I walk down there. I get my last
2 a.m.
my 20,000 steps.
I'm talking about the river.
Between 11 and 12.
Or Jawbone.
Jawbone or the river trail. And what I just, that's letting them win. By confining the opportunity to enjoy facilities, that's letting these few people win. I think what we need to do is come up with a plan, and I hate to encourage us to consider expenditure of public funds for this, but we probably need to buy a few more high-resolution cameras. If we had the camera that we had gone over to Jawbone Park in North Buckhannon Park, we would know exactly who desecrated that place over there. And by the way, my $500 offer for a reward leading to the arrest, formal charging, and conviction of those people in North Buckhannon Park, a citizen who has asked to remain anonymous has said that they will match my $500. So there's a $1,000 reward out there that will lead to the arrest and conviction of the people that did. You think what was bad was done in Jawbone was bad? What was done in North Buckhannon Park was 10 times worse. And it took our entire Streets and Parks crew of 8 workers a full 8-hour day to counteract what those criminals did to our North Buckhannon Park.
Do we know who they are yet?
No.
No.
There have been a bunch of leads, but nothing enough to lead to an arrest.
Well, I agree.
We're all underage and we're not going to do anything anyway.
Well, I agree with to some degree what CJ is saying, and to some degree what you're saying, David. I think we need a plan.
Yeah, I agree.
And
That sounds like Susan Allen.
And I don't think we're going to develop that plan tonight.
Yeah.
But I think we need to sit down at some point in time and, ask Matt's our chief law enforcement officer, get his input. I think that's very important. I'm not sure. I mean, I'll just throw this out there. I have people call me up once in a while and say, why are you out there on 33 arresting people instead of patrolling the downtown and the parks and so forth? And I said, I can't answer that. I don't know what the schedule is. But I said, I think they're trying to do everything to have people abide by the law.
Sure.
And the CJ says, there's people that are not going to do that. I mean, I live on the corner of Smithfield and Arnold, and it's amazing the number of people that speed up and down Smithfield and blow through that stop sign. I think one day I volunteered to Matt that I'd sit out there in the lounge chair with a Santa Claus suit and a stop sign on top of my head. He said, oh, you'll get run over in about an hour. People just don't pay attention, unfortunately. And it's very frustrating for us that do pay attention.
Yeah,
Well,
I hear you. I don't disagree with what you're saying.
I think that maybe they should attend Joe Reed's relaxation and stress management class, okay?
To us? That's not a bad idea.
Problem-solving class, goal-setting and action plan. Yeah, these people that are going through this stuff, you know, this is free. Maybe they should have to sit through that for 3 days.
Making me green beans all.
That's right.
Well, let me add to that. You prompted me to think of another part of what I wanted to address with
Exactly. That's what I was thinking about when I saw it.
my Facebook post. There ended up being, that last track, I think there were 687 comments and 127 shares all over West Virginia. Huntington and Beckley and Wheeling and Parkersburg. I've been accused of, you know, being a fascist and, that I'm out to get a pound of flesh and these poor victims who just happen to write a few bad words on things. And I'm not buying that, but I don't want to be incompassionate toward, you know, people who do these things, but there's got to be accountability. We all have accountability for what our actions are, our bad judgment choices. And I'm not out to, you know, there were a lot of comments about we need to bring the stocks back and 20 lashes, and that's not, we're not deteriorating into that. I'm not going to preach at the outset of a meeting that we need to be kind, supportive, loving community, and then turn around because somebody writes a few bad words on some things that we're going to, you know, string them up.
Let's give them some help a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is an opportunity to change our societal, cultural dial a little bit. And when we, in fact, can prove who did these kinds of things, we tried to educate them as to why that's inappropriate.
Exactly.
But the sad part of this is the heavy investment that municipalities and counties are putting into law enforcement, the prevention. I mean, look at what we're spending with the prevention resource officer.
Yeah.
Oh my God, when, you know, David, when you and I were growing up, we wouldn't even think of something like that. We didn't even have counselors in the school when I was in school.
You know, I would have socked it out on the playground and figured out justice when we got home, and both of our parents would have taken.
I don't remember saying moral decay.
But that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
It's a new world,
Yeah.
and we got to try to do the best with this new hand that's been dealt us.
But I think
What do these cameras
They
cost?
disrupt our profit.
Zoomable type cameras.
The ones that we just activated.
$1,200.
How much?
What's like the cheap?
$1,200.
$1,200.
Time.
How much, we spent more than that cleaning up the vandalism at North Buckhannon,
They
probably.
don't know how.
In North Buckhannon, we had 6 or 8 guys that worked 8 hours the full day, probably making, you know, on average 13, 14, 15 bucks an hour.
more than that if you had benefits.
You know, yeah, I mean, you know,
Always, Dave.
it was more than what the camera, you're right. It's more than what the camera would have cost us to have 1 day of cleanup, yeah.
So what do you want to do, Mayor? You want to?
We need more.
Well,
That's good.
we need to talk about it more, and I'm going to take it up with the Consolidated Public Works Board at next Thursday's meeting. I invite the council to come to that meeting if you want. I think it's technically that body's opportunity to develop a plan and make recommendations as to how to attack it. And I want Jerry Arnold to weigh in, because it's his guys, it's Matt's guys that do the arrest after we figure out who it is. But there's a public works element to this that we need to hear from Jerry too.
I would ask something, you know, a year ago, when we put the money into the park on Park Street, it was vandalized within a week of getting all that equipment in there.
As soon as it was put in,
But
it's like it's intentional.
I'd like to know the disposition of those people that were caught. What did they give back to the city, and what were the consequences?
Yeah.
You know, that's something I would like to know, because I'm just very frustrated with this whole situation, David.
I share those frustrations.
And every time I hear a car going through that stop sign, or not stopping, just blowing through there, I wish I could see, because I get a video camera and take a picture of it.
Dave, I'm frustrated not just by the acts of vandalism, but by the number of those people that offered comment after I did the social media post that came to a position that I was somehow victimizing the people that had damaged our public property.
Well, that's crap, David, you just have to accept it.
That's
You should
because
never
we
put
lost
that
our
on
morality and
Facebook.
ethics as a society, period.
Don't read the comments, blood pressure, just go.
Anyway, it is what it is, and we're not gonna solve it tonight, but I want you all to be thinking about it, because we can't change what happens in Charleston, West Virginia, or Washington DC, or Charlottesville, Virginia, but we can start down a path of adjusting a mindset and a culture in Buckhannon, West Virginia.
Yep.
And
We can certainly try.
yeah, we can dot try. You're spot on. Okay, that takes us to the second matter. Matt, did you want to say anything about the vandalism side of things? You're welcome. I didn't mean to not engage you.
Just chime in on what you were saying. You know, it's very unfortunate. These do occur. We do try our utmost best on our patrols. I know a lot of nights, our officers, especially in the warmer months, will actually get out of the vehicles and walk through the parks, the walk trails. We have our bike patrols that have been out on and off throughout the summer. One of the benefits to bike patrol is going areas where the car cannot, which includes parks and walk trails. So we do try to be diligent with that. That doesn't stop these obviously from occurring. If somebody is motivated to do it for whatever reason, and usually when I encounter individuals and question them about these activities, their number one reason is because they were bored. That's what they tell me. And so if they're motivated from that, they're going to do it. And one thing that has helped us in these investigations tremendously at both the city park and Jawbone Park is the presence of cameras. It has allowed us to identify the individuals, confront them. I've had more than one occasion where I've had individuals damaging property, whether it be vandalism or just tearing up tables at Jawbone Park specifically. As soon as I confronted them with the video evidence, this is some of the quickest I've ever seen any of my cases go. I'll charge them, I'll get confessions from them. The very next day, on more than one occasion, they will appear in magistrate court, and then the day after that, they're back down to Jawbone Park doing community service. And why did it occur that fast? And I honestly believe it's because we had cameras.
Absolutely.
It has assisted us in that much. And so I've long advocated that. These we invest a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort into our city parks. It's one of the crown jewels of the whole city.
They belong to
folks
everyone.
that come and visit here, they're comment on the beauty of the city and the beauty of our parks. And so we have a lot of investment in our parks. And I advocate that we need to protect our investment. We have cameras at Jawbone, we have cameras at the city park. We certainly need them at the Riverfront Park, the Buckhannon, North Buckhannon Riverfront Park and the walk trail. Those two particular parks are some of the more isolated areas in the entire city. And we've seen incidents occur that where people are otherwise out of sight, out of mind. We saw it with our walk trail last year where people were pulling up signs. We honestly got lucky with that because they posted their activities on Snapchat. But the North Buckhannon Park is, again, where it occurred. I walked around through there today just looking around, and the playgrounds, there aren't any houses around the playgrounds. It's pretty isolated, especially at night. And if we just protected our investment a little more, it would assist us. Now, would it stop it? No, it may deter it. It may deter individuals otherwise, but would it completely stop it? Probably not. But when and if it would occur in the future, if we had these extra resources to protect our investments, it would assist us in investigating and making a case. And therein lies, in a lot of situations, the deterrence. When we make this case and they appear before the magistrate and are sentenced to community service, which is typically the result, it's a combination. Mr. Thomas, you'd asked about if they could have both, and it typically is a combination of restitution and community service. I've seen in a lot of situations, one particular individual that had to, the tables now are light brown because of the most recent community service. They were a darker brown before that, and that was because of the last community service individual that I had in the park last year, and I haven't seen that woman come back to Jawbone Park since.
Yeah.
Matt, I have a question. Where there are the CCTVs, are there signs warning people that?
I don't believe that there is, and then again, yeah, the signage itself could be a general deterrent as well.
Like, oh, I better not do that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's good
it's
to
another step more proactive instead of reactive and trying to figure it out and charge them.
So we all know, there will be an element of our community that will take umbrage with video cameras, because now we're infringing on rights. It's George Orwell, 1984, and government's watching everything we do. And I don't want to overstep the bounds of privacy.
And nor do
You'd
we.
only be looking at the film if something happened,
That's right.
Absolutely.
You're not going to be monitoring.
You know, the video feeds into a server, and the server's only large enough to keep the videos for just a matter of a few
nothing
days
happens, you
anyway.
delete
So
it.
when we
Yeah.
find out about it, we can access. You know, if we find out about vandalism or other wrongdoing at the park, we can access that within a day or two time and get our video evidence.
And our footage isn't shared with any other external agency, isn't that correct?
Yes, sir, that's
Okay.
correct, absolutely.
Just so we can calm that down. Right?
It's all in-house, it's managed by the city, and
It's not going to the Pentagon.
within a few days. No.
I think we have a responsibility to do something, David, so I'm with you.
Let's, I want everybody to sleep on it.
I like your idea of having it discussed.
You're a great planner, Mr. Thomas is a great planner. Let's get everybody's heads together and come up with a plan.
David, it may even be worth a town hall meeting at some point.
Maybe. Let's,
It involves the whole community.
yeah. Well, thanks, and I'm sorry for the rant.
You didn't rant.
Buckhannon Police Department request to approve participation in CLIA accreditation. Matt, you want to speak to that for us?
Yes, sir. So you have something in your packets to reinforce what we're talking about. As you folks are aware, we've been talking about CLIA accreditation for the police department for 2 or 3 months now. Really looked at it in depth. Of course, I was aware of it academically and understood how professional the process was. My reservations coming into it were financial. I had shared those with council previously. However, as we continue to meet with other agencies, investigate CLIA accreditation, different meetings with the mayor, we are reassured that as far as financially, it won't be anything that's restrictive to the Buckhannon Police budget, which was comforting to hear as we move forward. As I continue to, again, investigate this and meet with the officers, all the officers of the police department, it is my firm belief, not only in my interactions with them both on a one-on-one basis, as well as collectively as we meet, that each of them want to be professional. They want to be professional. They want to represent the city as professionally as they can, and they all want to do a good job and do it to their utmost abilities. That being said, we all believe that CLIA is a positive thing. It's very professional for the police department, and it's a good thing not just for the officers, but for the city, the citizens, and all who visit here to have police department adhere to these professional standards, to want to attain this professionalism and seek this accreditation. So that being said, the mayor and I recently had a meeting with each of the officers to discuss our vision of professionalism for the police department and CLIA accreditation, not only in attaining this, but collectively working on this project. Each different members of the police department have different specializations, different niches, if you will, of interest in law enforcement. It is our plan to all have our fingerprint on this and make it something that we can all call something that we work on. So that being said, through this meeting we discussed the process of collectively working on this, achieving this accreditation, this professionalization, and continuing this professionalism as we one day achieve CLIA accreditation a couple, 2, 3 years down the road and onward. So we would like to, as the fruit of this meeting, present this statement on professionalism and pursuit of CLIA accreditation to City Council tonight. Mayor, would it be appropriate I read it? or-
Absolutely, absolutely, please do.
This is Buckhannon Police Department statement on professionalism and pursuit of CALEA accreditation. We, the officers of the Buckhannon Police Department, individually and collectively, are committed to the principles that as professionals, a police officer's fundamental duty is to serve mankind, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against oppression and intimidation, and the peaceful against violence and disorder, and to respect the constitutional rights of all men to liberty, equality, and justice. We further believe that such professionalism is something that must be constantly strived for with diligence, resolve, and commitment. As such, we hold that our department's application for attainment of accreditation through the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, CALEA, by the Buckhannon Police Department shall be a symbol for adhering to the values herein described, and hereby affix all of our signatures below as a sign of our commitment to these professional standards. We further specifically request the support of and collaboration with our Buckhannon City Council and the department's mission to realize full accreditation through CALEA. You'll find that each and every member, including Tim Smith, our administrative assistant, has signed and endorsed this project. And so we present this to you tonight as we move forward.
Excellent.
The only comment I would make, Matt, is be gender neutral, where you say men.
In your statement here, that's.
All the constitutional rights of all.
Yeah. I think it's great.
Matt, have you prepared a budget for this for the first year, or?
I have not.
Is it something that we need to allocate from our?
Not tonight, but we know that there is an application cost with this, and it's something that we will need to, I think the 3-year application fee is $8,400. That doesn't count if we, once we start this process, that opens up the opportunity for the chief and other officers to go to CALEA-sponsored conferences and things like that. That's another one of those things we'd have to look at, but we're basically looking at the outset of appropriating $8,400 over a 3-year period of time.
Is this something we want to try to figure out year-by-year costs? I mean,
Sure.
this first year would be the initial application fee, probably sending 2 officers to at least 1 regional conference a year, and try to come up with that number, and then allow us to allocate it toward that mission.
I would see Matt's budget having a line item for CALEA-related expenses going forward as we get into the next budget cycle.
Matt, this document that was prepared for you, that it includes the steps and the, would they help you maybe develop a budget?
Yes.
I mean, you can find the information about the cost for accreditation. The one that Mr. Gregory prepared for you. It's right after you. Oh, you're looking through. I was looking for dollars. They list the steps because I'm assuming that each of those stages, is a different.
I think there's an option actually to either pay it in one lump sum, or you can pay it in either 2 installments or even 3 installments.
Right. But I'm just thinking that he might be able to, whoever prepared this might be able to help you with the ancillary costs, like at what point you might need to go to conferences, even if you need help in preparing the self-study or something like that, that they might be able to help you put together a comprehensive budget so that you have the resources you need to gain accreditation.
We knew that there would be some more than nominal, but less than immense cost associated with this.
Like the one stage is 24 to 36 months.
Yeah. I think this is something we absolutely unequivocally need to support as a council, and I would entertain a motion that we approve the request of the members of our Buckhannon Police Department to proceed with the first step toward CALEA accreditation. I have a motion by Mrs. Capari and a second by Mr. Rylands. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing of the need for none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
Thank you all very much. I will add, thank you. Of course, this isn't something that has to be accomplished tonight, certainly. But as we move forward, we're calling on the mayor to appoint a committee. I know in our conversations with Granville, as they prepared their policies to be in adherence with the CALEA standards, they had a council committee that regularly met and reviewed those for approval. That was when they were ultimately compiled into the policy manual, was presented in its entirety from that committee to all of City Council for ultimate approval.
Let's put together some names that we can come back to the full council with, say at the September 7 meeting. But many of these folks that Matt was bouncing off of me and me off of him are folks, Jeff Harvey, Jim Farrell, Greg Cochran, the chief of Granville, and Bucky Forbes, the assistant chief. We want to use Buckhannon resources as well as external resources. They strongly recommended that you have the city attorney on board because there's going to be, language, verbiage review.
Sure.
Tom doesn't have anything else to do. So we'll, does that sound like a plan? We'll come back. We're taking the first step tonight, and the next step will be at the September 7th meeting. We'll share some names for, we want to use the expertise of those in our community and in the external community to make this come to pass.
Matt, is the only other CALEA opportunity in West Virginia with the Grandview, or are there other cities that have done this also?
Right now, the only fully accredited agency is Parkersburg. Granville is in the process of accreditation. In fact, I think they're just on the cusp of accreditation within the next month or so. Charlestown is seeking accreditation, but they're only about a year into it. And of course, we would be the fourth.
Here, Elkins is
yeah, I was
starting
going
the
to say I've talked to
process.
some of our counterparts over in Elkins, and they've expressed interest in starting down this path as well.
I commend you all for doing this. I personally know how much time and effort it takes
we're
to pursue accreditation.
We're midnight oil.
So,
we're excited about the challenge. We believe
it's worth it.
It'll be absolutely.
I'll have some other names for you to look at.
To potentially be the first and only city in West Virginia to have police and fire accreditation. We want to challenge our sister cities around us to let's do it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Proud of you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
F3, ordinance 419 sewer rate increase. This is going to be an easy one. Tom can speak to it. We're still monkeying around with it, so it's not going to be a first reading.
Yeah, it's not a first reading.
No, the ordinance says the draft still needs some work, so probably appropriate to move to table it.
Okay, move to table.
I have a motion by Mr. Thomas to table until September 7th. May I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mrs. Albaugh. Discussion on the motion? No. Call for the question. All those in favor of tabling the sewer ordinance until our September 7th meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. You're up with F4, which is ordinance 420.
Ordinance 420 is, I don't know if we've ever had a one-page ordinance before, but it's...
You got the prize tonight, buddy. I mean,
I believe in the elegance of simplicity. Ordinance 420 is necessitated by the construction of the City of Buckhannon Dog Park. The animal care and control ordinance mandates that dogs are, it defines the terms direct control and running at large to require all animals to be on a leash if it's not in the home or in a fenced-in backyard at all times, and obviously if it's in the dog park, we could have technical violations of the animal care and control ordinance, and we don't want inconsistencies in city ordinances. So, given that it's a very, very brief ordinance, I'll just read it in total for the council benefit. I would note that on your draft, I'm not sure if you have drafts of this in your packet or not. I have found that, you have copies, okay. The copy that you have has some minor, I need to do a couple of technical corrections to it, just some subject verb agreement a couple things. So I'm going to read it as it will appear in its final form. Ordinance number 420 of the City of Buckhannon, amending ordinance numbers 300 and 397, known, cited, and referred to as the Buckhannon Animal Care and Control Ordinance. Whereas pursuant to Chapter 8, Article 2, Section 5, subsection 26 of the West Virginia Code as amended, municipalities are granted plenary power and authority to regulate or prohibit the keeping of animals or fowls and to provide for impounding, sale, or destruction of animals or fowls kept contrary to law or found running at large within the corporate limits. And whereas the Council of the City of Buckhannon, through ordinance numbers 300 and 397, has adopted comprehensive regulations respecting animals kept, maintained, or otherwise brought or coming into the corporate limits. And whereas the city has established the City of Buckhannon Dog Park, which necessitates amendment of the Animal Care and Control Ordinance to provide a legal space where dogs may be off-leash, now therefore be it ordained and enacted by the Council of the City of Buckhannon as follows. A dog shall not be considered running at large if it is not under the direct control of its owner or handler, under the meaning of those terms as defined in ordinance number 397. If that dog is within the fenced enclosure located and situate in a facility designated as a City of Buckhannon Dog Park, as said park or parks is or are designated from time to time by the city. This ordinance shall be deemed effective 30 days from following the second reading, passage, and adoption by the council, i.e. October 7th, 2017. I would note that the ordinance as drafted contemplates the possibility that there could be more than one dog park at some point in the future, and that this ordinance would not need to be further amended to reflect that fact.
I note under your certificate of enactment.
I catch that too.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
418,
Yeah.
420, and the
Yep.
dates also.
Yep, I got that.
Other than that, those minor administrative things, I would entertain a motion that we approve on the first of two readings, ordinance 420, amending our animal care and control ordinance.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Thomas. May I have a second to that motion?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Rylands. Is there any discussion on the motion?
I just have a quick question. The first paragraph refers to a previous ordinance, is that correct, about the
397.
destruction?
Well, the destruction refers to Chapter 8,
Right.
Article 12, Section 5.
Oh, just
Of the code.
Paragraph 26.
Yeah, that's the state code. That's a reference to state code. That gives the city the authority to regulate this activity, but the ordinance is amending city ordinances
Okay.
300 and 397, specifically really
We're
397.
not destroying animals.
Yeah, I'm just curious why that's in there. Say that again?
Well, because you want in each ordinance, you want to cite the city's legal authority to enact the ordinance that it is enacting.
You don't want to take out parts of the state statute. That's.
Okay, so you're saying that that's part of saying that the municipality has the authority
Yep.
To pass this ordinance.
All right, so I'll send a letter to the state, I guess, about that destruction.
Okay, so any further discussion on the motion? I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the motion approving the first reading of ordinance 420 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thanks, Tom. F5, utility bill donations for. Dave Thomas knows this well. I used to do it, quit doing it. Dave used to do it, and I don't know if he's still doing it or not.
No, I'm like you.
Several folks have asked about, are you still collecting money for Starker Youth Center? Well, yeah, not very many people do it, but yeah. And well, why don't you collect money for that theater project? And why don't you collect money for the dog park? And so what I'm proposing we do, we don't need to take action on it tonight because I don't have the form ready, but we're going to revise the form that we have used for the last 15 years or so. Folks can put an extra $1 or $2 or $5. Heck, if you want to do $10 or $20, you could. Whatever amount you want to give. We put that on your utility bill. We send it with your utility bill, and then when you write your check, if it's $78 for all of your city services and you want to make it for 80 bucks, that's what this will do. But now, instead of it just being Stocker Youth Center, if you want to choose to give an extra $1 to $5 a month to the dog park or to the theater project, you'll have your choice to do that as well. So I'm making the public announcement tonight that I'm going to pledge regularly from now till as long as I'm paying a city utility bill, $5 a month for the Stockard Youth Center, $5 a month for the dog park, and $5 a month for the theater project. So you feel free to match me or make it $1 or whatever you want to, but I guarantee you as word gets out of our effort for people to voluntarily donate to these causes, we'll raise some money to help us get further along with these.
How many citizens do we have that pay water bills? Sewage bills?
Well, we have 7,000 customers when you count the waste and water.
And I think that's a good idea, David. And for people that are not residents of the city, certainly about 70–75% of the individuals utilizing Stockard are outside the city limits.
Yep, you're
So
spot on, Dave.
they should, they may say, well, we don't want to do the theater or the dog park, but certainly Stockard.
They can choose, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely,
Oh,
their
yeah.
choice entirely.
Why couldn't we add fireworks to that?
You're pushing it, Pam.
I think
Well,
That's
I wanna
an
talk
event,
about
that's not a facility.
We're appropriating $5,000 a year for fireworks. We're paying for the fireworks, right?
Yeah.
And I hear you. I don't want to start a cafeteria plan where you got 20 different things to choose from and then we don't raise enough money to do anything. So that's my concern.
All right.
Does anyone know?
I hear you.
Does anyone know the estimated ongoing expenses for the dog park?
Not
I mean,
yet.
I understand the
It's,
cost to start it, but what kind of ongoing costs will there be?
This group is committed at the outset to continuing to do fundraisers throughout the year. Yeah, you'll have to purchase the bags for the,
Okay.
disposal.
But there hasn't been a
stuff.
budget worked out to know how much that will cost on it.
No.
Okay. It's hard to know how much will be used.
How long will the fence be good for? 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? I mean, there will be on down the pipe, depending upon the success of it, the use of it, there'll be some things to follow.
And then are they managing all that separately, or is that part of?
Everything will come to the city.
Okay.
It's all a city project.
Okay.
Okay, so no action needed. I'll try to have, I really intended to have a form for you to look at, but we just want to start getting the word out that folks will have an opportunity to do things. And believe it or not, that takes us down to comments and announcements, and Mrs. Allboy, you're first up.
Okay. I will find them. Oh, here they are. I just wanted to say to Mayor McCauley, Council Member C.J. Rylands, to Brad Hawkins and Jerry Arnold and all their crews who worked so hard to get Jawbone Park ready for the celebration of life for the David D. Taylor II. That includes the fire department. That includes the police department. But I also want to say thanks to the veterans of Upshur County Honor Guard and the veterans of the Patriot Guard that were here in Buckhannon and who became my right and left hands. The Boy Scouts, who you didn't have to ask anything, they were right there, I'll do it. And always my favorite young talented Shelby Williams for participating in that service as one of the buglers and singing God Bless America. But it was a great coming together of so many people and recognition. And as a veteran, and as this young man was a veteran, I just really want to say thank you for the city's help in doing this.
We thank you, Mary, for all the time you spent.
You're welcome. Also, Dennis Cordes sent me an email, and Mary, you already mentioned this, but his father, Paul Joseph Cordes, was a World War II United States Army Air Corps veteran. And as a member of the American Legion Post 7, which is his son Dennis, and Dennis also serves on our city's Veteran Collaboration Committee. And I wanted to say that we all send our thoughts and prayers out to him and his family also.
101.
101 years.
That's amazing.
101 years. Anyways, and also the health department sent out an email, and that's it. It just got my attention. Long-term disabilities, high blood pressure, diabetes, chronic pain, and anxiety. It's called a chronic condition self-management workshop training. But then they talk about things like goal setting and action planning, problem solving, communication skills, dealing with difficult emotions, relaxation and stress management. This is free. Dr. Joe Reed and Mariana are going to be teaching this class. It's going to be at the Elmore Fire Department from 6:30 to 9 p.m. on September the 8th. We have anybody out there who needs free help and learn how, or maybe some of these people who did evangelism, maybe they need to learn some of this stuff. So, and the other thing is, this is free fun. The Yeager Airport and the West Virginia Air Guard will be celebrating their 70th anniversary air show in Charleston, and that will be on September 30th and October the 1st from 9 to 6, and I think on Sunday it's going to be from 9 to 3. There will be aircraft rides, aerial demonstrations, aircraft static displays and tours, and it's free food and souvenirs for sale, and it's going to be a good whole family thing. And if you have anybody who'd like to be around and watch those big aircraft and learn more about them, it's really interesting, and it is a fun day. So I just wanted to share that with the community.
Thanks.
And that's it. That's all I've got.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.
Pam Capari.
I just want to relay a message from Mary Shoulders that she has all praises for our Buckhannon Police Department on how the professional job they handled, and she thanks you very much and just did an excellent job.
Former City Councilman, Mary.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Pam. Anything else?
No.
Mr. Rollins.
In conversations with folks about this, especially after the article of the upcoming sewer rate increase, you know, I look forward to the time when this new position is filled and we can inform the public in the same manner that we are informed to make our decisions. I mean, this particular rate increase is going to impact me by about $110 a month because of the restaurant and the water usage. But I support this raise because I understand the facts of the matter. And I believe that our citizens will support it if they have the facts. And we don't currently have a process that gets those specific facts, you know, and that we all base our decisions on. So it wouldn't hurt us even at this juncture to develop some talking points. And, you know, as I understand this, you know, the situation that we're in there, and to put them on track. And, you know, we are in so much better shape because we do all these things in-house, that we manage our pipelines and our plants and do all that, where other communities have, in fact, you know, sold some of these entities off, and they become at the mercy of corporations running these things for them. So I look forward to that, and hopefully we get that thing that hire made, and we start telling our story a little more accurately, and maybe that could reduce the drama and the time we spend trying to get the facts out ourselves.
Very, very well taken point. Mr. Skinner is not here. That takes us to Mr. Thomas.
The only comment I want to put out there is that I applaud the people that are looking at a recreational complex. I think that's a massive undertaking. And one of the things that they have to remember is it's not just the initial investment. What is the annual cost going to be to maintain that kind of facility? And I think that facility will be used by both city residents and county residents. And I still believe firmly that to take on that magnitude of a project, it ought to be a bond levy. And I think we ought to put it to the voters, because it's not only the X amount of dollars up front, but you're going to have X amount of dollars annually, which will be a pretty good chunk of it, I believe. So I think it's not a doable project unless we can get a bond levy to do it.
Thanks, Dan. Dr. Susan Allen.
Yeah. I'm just looking forward to the start of the new semester.
Yeah.
Hey,
Busy.
when's it start?
Been really busy this week.
Mondays.
We start Monday.
Monday, first
We
class.
have freshman convocation Saturday and orientation and registration Sunday. Classes start Monday. Busy weekend.
Good point. And I know some of us get aggravated as we,
Very.
it take longer getting to Walmart and got to wait in line for everything because all those college kids are back. But let's not lose sight of, they bring so much to our local economy, and so many of our people that pay the bills that we do things with are employed at the college. And anyway, just
It's great for the community.
curb your enthusiasm, as they say. Some announcements of things coming up. We've got a lot of things coming up in September. September 1st, Friday at 5 o'clock, we're going to dedicate the new dog park. The water guys were working up there today to deliver water so they can have fountains for people as well as the motleys of the world. The fence posts are going to be going up here in the next few days. Sewer department's had a gift made of one of their providers, I'm told. They're going to bring in a couple of sewer pieces and they'll be painted with dog paws and the whole bit, because dogs apparently love to run through tunnels like kids do. So there's going to be some fun things coming on, some signage, some lighting, all of it's, we'll try to have as much of it ready as we can for September 1st.
What time is the dedication?
5 o'clock, Friday, September 1st. A couple of weeks after that, or actually 8 days after that, on Saturday, starting I think at 9 o'clock in the morning and going until about dusk, will be Ha Ha. And Ha Ha is no laughing matter. Ha Ha stands for Hope and Help Assembly. And some of the foremost people who deal with addiction in our entire state and region will be coming in to speak about drug issues. The event is in Jawbone Park. The Davison Brothers Band will perform for about 2 hours toward the tail end, and opening for them, I promised my kid I'd put a plug in, is the Whiskey Shakes. So I don't know that that's the best title for a band when we're dealing with addiction issues, but anyway, the Whiskey Shakes followed by the Davison Brothers. So there'll be music, excellent speakers, and this isn't just for people who have an addiction problem or for family members of addicts in recovery. We're all in this together. We should all be engaged and learn more about this plague upon our community. So please come out for that. The following week, September 15 and 16, as was noted earlier, is Children's Festival, Truck Fest, lots of fun things for kids of all ages, even people the age of Dave Thomas would get a kick out of Truck Fest. And looking ahead to October, we're going to repeat the trunk or treat activities, probably that Friday before Halloween. And also, we're going to celebrate the life of Ross Strait. Ross's 66th birthday will be on October 26th. We lost him 3 years ago. We're going to do another nice dedication down at Jawbone beside Buckhannon and Mahonigan's statue. I got to tell you, there's some stuff going on there, social media, that has cast some aspersions in the directions of how we have honored our Native Americans, and I don't know what that's all about, but yeah, I'm very proud of our city seal mural. I'm very proud of the city seal in back of us. I'm very proud of Ross Strait's amazing work with the sculpting in Jawbone Park, and maybe your next mayor will want all that stuff taken down, but it's not happening on my watch. So anyway, that's all I've got this evening. Could I have a 5-minute executive session, and we'll get you out of here?
Going to time. Going to time.
I would entertain a motion that we adjourn, subject to a 5-minute executive session in which no action will be taken. Mrs. Albaugh's made a motion.
Second.
That was seconded by Mr. Thomas. Discussion, no. Call for the question. All those in favor of moving into, adjourning into executive session? signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. I'd ask if Mrs. Jenkins and Mr. O'Neill could stick around with us.